Welcome everyone to a trip down Stoner Drive. I am your host Shag Wellbolt, or you can call me Shaggy. Zoinks, zoinks. And this is a platform to tell people stories about how cannabis has positively or maybe even negatively affected their lives. I don't care if you're a patient, a brand, a distribution, an athlete, a politician. If you have a story to tell, I want to hear it. So hopefully this gives you an educating and entertaining look behind the scenes of the booming cannabis industry. And if you like my videos, please give a like. Welcome, everybody. I am your host, Shaggy. And normally I show you a great view, but it's nighttime, so not much to see. But it doesn't matter because you're not here for the view. You're here for a podcast, and this is a trip down Stoner Drive. I'm excited today because the whole point of the show is to be able to, and making it mobile out of the mystery machine, is to be able to interview anybody, anywhere, anytime. So even if schedules are changing and crazy and chaotic like they always are in the cannabis industry, we're going to make any time work. So dude, thank you so much. This is Joseph from Farm Cut Canna and Emerald Spirit. And so thank you so much, Joseph, for coming on, man.
Yeah. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to come on and share with your audience and everyone listening out there. I'm Emerald Spirit Botanicals and Farm Cut. We're a small farm out of Mendocino County. My great-grandparents moved to the area in 1936. So I'm fourth generation to grow up and live on the land up there, and just honored to be a steward of the land, grow good food, good medicine, and especially while we're here today, some good cannabis.
Exactly.
The Farm Cut.
And since it is 8:20, that means it's 4:20 somewhere. So I'm going to give a part of this a shot if you want to pack up a bowl or so, or if you want to try anything you want. I did pack up the Trilogy, which is a mix of the THC, THCV, and CBG. Now, a lot of people might not know about the other ones. They know THC for sure, and that's what a lot of companies focus on, but you guys don't really focus too much, or your sole focus isn't on THC, but it's on all the cannabinoids. So.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. So, my mom really started this journey. I was born and raised on the land, and, we were growing food my whole life. And then, right around 20 years ago, my mom took a turn and really started focusing on cannabis, and she came from more of an herbalist perspective, and really wanted to help the cannabis plant come forward as a medicine. And part of that was to diversify the cannabinoid profiles within the flower using natural and organic practices. So what we're going to smoke up here is called Trilogy. It's THC, THCV, and CBG in a 5-to-1-to-1 ratio, which means there's around 15% THC, 3% THCV, and 3% CBG. Really beautiful bud, really beautiful structure. It smells really similar to a Jack Herer. It's terpenoline dominant. It's got a little bit of ocimene in there. So you get the sharpness of the terpenoline. It's got kind of that citrusy pine. And then the ocimene, I feel like it kind of comes in and softens it a little bit, which is a really nice combination to the sharp terpenoline in there. So really nice, like citrus pine with a little floral note in the back neck drop.
That's so tasty.
Yeah, it's for us, we found that minor cannabinoids can really support THC in a really unique way. So with THCV and CBG specifically, CBG can be good for the gut. There's a lot of research coming out suggesting that it may help with IBD, IBS, general gut health. And then I personally have found that THCV helps me to stay uplifted, mentally clear, focused. So you have this unique dynamic of the THCV supporting the mind and CBG supporting the gut. which I think are two critical parts of
completely
the human and keeping those balanced.
And I love the THCV because like I'm training for a marathon coming up in 2 weeks. And so I've been using a lot of like THCV tablets and things like that and incorporating a lot of sativas into my workout. So it's not as heavy on the body and just more gets me going. Yep. And so I love that you guys have a lot of THCV. Now, since it's a trilogy and everything, and it's got the THC and the THCV, is it a cross of the Pink Boost at all, or how did you focus?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So the trilogy. So the story behind the trilogy is pretty interesting. So the Pink Boost Goddess we started breeding for 9 years ago. And then the CBG has been a cannabinoid that we've been really interested in. CBG is commonly referred to as the mother cannabinoid. It's the first cannabinoid that's produced by the plant, and then it converts from CBG into THC or CBD or CBC, some of these other cannabinoids.
Yeah.
You also have a cannabinoid called CBGV.
Mm-hmm.
That converts into THCV, CBDV, and basically the varin subsets of the cannabinoids that we're more familiar with. So the V stands for varin, and CBG has proven to be a really tricky cannabinoid to find in a significant amount in the flower once it's harvested, because most of it's converted to THC. So we've spent about 7 years selecting for a cannabis variety that produced just a couple percentage points of CBG, and we called that Equinox CBG. Mm-hmm. And then we crossed that with the Pink Boost Goddess. So trilogy represents, combined over 15 years of work, but it was essentially 2 lines that we were working on at the same time, and then we brought them together to create the trilogy, weaving together our CBG lineage and our THCV lineage.
Well, I'm definitely loving it. And since we're talking about the Pink Boost Goddess, we have to bring up that you guys just placed and won most unique flower at the Farmers Cup just yesterday.
Yes,
so
yesterday.
How was that experience? Well, one, let's talk about Pink Boost Goddess, but how was the experience of entering the Farmers Cup? Is this the first one you've entered, and kind of how was the whole process of that?
Yeah. So, this was my first time entering into Farmers Cup. I've entered into the Emerald Cup before and the California State Fair. And Pink Boost Goddess is it's a 2-time Emerald Cup winner and a 2-time gold medalist at the California State Fair. And the reason that I wanted to enter into Farmers Cup was, one, to bring my flower and our story to Southern California and San Diego.
Absolutely.
California State Fair is based in Sacramento. Emerald Cup has been based in Santa Rosa, Oakland. They did one in LA, area. But a lot of it was north. And also one thing that I love is Farmers Cup is a people's choice competition. Yes. So it's a little bit of a different style of competition. The California State Fair is a lab-based primarily. Mm-hmm. So you get your awards based on the potency and the percentages.
Yeah.
The Emerald Cup is more of, it's a group of connoisseurs and judges that come a little bit more invite only, is my understanding. You can apply in, but there's generally a group of connoisseur judges that really know cannabis and are, they're legends in the cannabis space.
Yeah, exactly.
And so to win awards, when judged by some of the legends of the legacy cannabis movement through the Emerald Cup, with the SC Labs and the Lab Award, and now to get the People's Choice.
Just incredible.
Yeah, it's a really unique achievement. And I think Pink Boost Goddess, it's 9 years of breeding work, really by my mother. And so to get this recognition really just, helps us continue to bring the story of minor cannabinoids forward and show people that this is something to pay attention to, and something that really people are enjoying the effects of it.
Absolutely. And especially with the California market, everything's so THC heavy that it's kind of gotten the potency really high in a lot of things. And there's some people that are still trying cannabis for the first time and have not smoked. And so there needs to be something that's for everybody. And so I have people that have started to look more for CBD flower and get a balance, and they will check Pure Beauty, and then they always check you guys to maybe see if we have any in stock or so, to make sure, because they always know there's a really good full spectrum balance in there, which I enjoy. And then, talking about the Farmers Cup as well, is that anybody can enter. So you buy judges kits from the dispensaries, and how many different competitors were there in your category? Do you know?
So within the general flower category, there were 45 entries, and they had an an indoor and a legacy sun grown. So I don't actually know. I know that it was 45 combined.
Okay, cool.
And we got the best packaging award as well,
Absolutely.
which I'm super stoked about. So it was nice to to see not only our flower be recognized, but also the package in which we prepare it for for our customers and our patients. And so to get a package and a flower award at the same time, just it felt really special and
absolutely
just validating the work that we're doing.
And that's incredible. And so is all of Emerald Spirit Botanicals family owned, or has it expanded beyond there, or how many people work for Emerald?
So Emerald Spirit Botanicals, it's my mom, my brother, my wife, and I.
Holy crap, it's only you four.
Yeah.
Just power too, because I know what it takes with a team. So and that was with an edible company. So the fact that you guys are doing this with 4 of you, that's incredible.
No, it's a huge amount of work. But the way that we've been able to do it is, my mom, my brother, my wife, and I, we each have these different unique skill sets. And we've found a way to really work together in harmony, but also allow each other to live within the realm that we thrive within.
Yeah.
With my mom, it's breeding and exploring these minor cannabinoids and caring for the plants as though they're her children, and putting this heart and soul and love into every single plant. And then working with science and spirit to breed these genetics forward. And my brother, he was born on the land with me, and he's been an amazing worker to just come in and help support my mom, learn by her side, be an incredible gardener. He's built our fences. He built our dry room from foundation to finish. He is like a sturdy, durable dude that just knows how to get things done. He's skilled with a hammer. He's skilled with a saw, and he can turn a tree into a house. And he's got all of the skills to be able to do that. And then, myself, I was born and raised on the land as well. I took a path towards education, and, I went to school at UC Santa Cruz, studied sustainable agriculture and green building design. And then I completed my senior thesis as a junior on compost heat recovery and sustainable agriculture technology, and was able to teach 3 classes at UC Santa Cruz as a senior, and then went on to study 2 years through Rudolph Steiner College on biodynamic agriculture. So I was able to get 6 years of studying organics, sustainability, and then I came back to the farm.
Heck yeah.
And supporting my mom and my brother were there the whole time while I was off at school. And I met my wife at Rudolph Steiner College, and so she came back to the farm with me, and the 4 of us really just dove into creating Emerald Spirit Botanicals as it is today.
That's incredible. And what you're saying is just understanding the strengths of everybody and utilizing it. And that's what I love. And it's teaming up with the right people. And it seems like you guys really did the right team. So also teaming up, you guys happen to work with other companies, right? With other grows and also the cartridges. So do you want to explain some of the companies or farms you work with, and also how you kind of highlight them as well?
Yeah. So within Farm Cut, Farm Cut is a cooperative. So like my family, Emerald Spirit Botanicals is myself, my brother, my mom, and my wife. We work with 4 other small family farms that are in a similar situation. So, Happy Day Farms, which is here, one of the other farmers within Farm Cut. It's Casey, his brother Lido, their partners, and then Casey's and Lido's father. So they have 3 generations alive on the farm. They grow food, they grow cannabis, they raise animals, they are land stewards.
I love that.
And so each farm in Farm Cut has that unique story where, we're 2nd generation farmers. Our parents took care of the land. We were raised on the farm, and now we've stepped up to take care of the land, following in the footsteps of our parents. And we're all growing food. We're all growing cannabis. 3 of us have won the Regenerative Cannabis Farm Award at the Emerald Cup, recognizing that, not only do we just claim sustainability and regenerative, because there's a lot of people claiming it that's not real, we actually do it and we practice it every single day. And that takes a lot of work. And so Farm Cut was 5 small families that alone we didn't have a chance to survive with legalization. We would have all been knocked out. But by coming together, supporting each other, finding a way to get a product onto the market, that's what allowed each one of our small families to survive. And so when you pick up Farm Cut, you know that you're supporting at least second generation legacy cannabis farmers. And it's all sun grown, it's all organic. And that quality of cooperation that we built within Farm Cut not only are we practicing it within our flower, but we're also practicing it with a few of our other brands. And so Garden Society is a woman-owned brand out of Sonoma County, and they make pre-rolls and edibles. And so we partnered with them to do some pre-rolls because we want to focus on farming. We want to focus on our flower. And so Garden Society is able to do pre-rolls for us. And then we also partnered with a brand called Chemistry, which is based out of the Bay Area.
Fantastic brand.
And yeah, Paul and the whole team there, he's also an amazing group of people. And they really value sun-grown flower. They source from regenerative farms, and they do full spectrum extract. So full spectrum means that the terpenes that are extracted from the plant, they remain in the extract, and there's not extra terpenes added. It is the native terpene profile of the plant. So when you smoke a Pink Boost Goddess full spectrum THCV cartridge, it tastes like Pink Boost Goddess.
Exactly.
And it feels like Pink Boost Goddess. And there's a lot of cartridges where you can use just any old flower, and then you can add any terpene profile to it, and you can kind of create whatever you want. And that's cool. And that's, that can taste
but
good.
It's not true to the plant.
It's not true to the plant.
And that's why anytime I taste any cart that tastes like candy, I immediately am just turned off by it. I'm just like, this is not what weed tastes like. So I know they added something. And so, and that's what I love. And if you look on the back of any of these cards, which, by the way, we carry Chemistry at Cannabis and also all the Farm Cut, the THCV or the Pink Boost Goddess is the one that flies faster than any of the Chemistry cards. But if you look on the back, it's a little hard to see, sorry with my camera, but you'll actually see all of the different cannabinoids. So it's just showing you even like less than 1% of CBN, 0.49% CBN. So it's like 4 milligrams. They're putting every single cannabinoid in there, all the terpenes on there. So if you want detailed and you really like to be educated about your brand, Chemistry and Emerald Spirit and Farm Cut are fantastic about putting all the cannabinoids and all of the terpenes that are in it. And so the more educated you are, this is a brand that you will really be drawn to.
Yeah. And we also with Chemistry and with Farm Cut, you can look at the part of the jar that says the strain name up top. Kind of how we break it down is the lid tells you the farm that grows the flower. And then on the back here, you have the strain name, you have the cannabinoids. Below that is the terpenes. And below that is the appellation. And the appellation is the region where it comes from. And you find appellation in wine. And we're really trying to bring that to cannabis as well, particularly with sun-grown. It's grown in the earth. There are very unique microclimates all around California. And the appellation can help consumers be able to find, and patients to be able to find, what part of the region of California do you want flower from? And so we list that. We take it all the way down to the watershed, because water is the source of life, and different watersheds hold different terroirs. They hold different soil types. They hold different unique climates. And so we actually have 2 properties. One is in the Eel River watershed, and one is in the Noyo River watershed. They're both based in Mendocino County.
I love how much detail you're going into. And also, he does live by it. He actually brought me water from their spring, which was from the bottom of a redwood tree that they create. So you built the well out of the redwood, or how was it? But either way, incredible from the farm, and it's so refreshing.
Yeah, cheers to a drink of the spring water.
Right. Oh, just so good.
Yeah. So the water it's a spring, and there's, up in Mendocino County, there's a lot of redwood trees, and there's forest everywhere, and the root systems below the trees are tapped into these water networks that are underground that we don't see. These, it's not really an aquifer, so to say, but it's these underground water flows. And the forest is actively tapping into these, and the roots are pulling water up to the surface. And so there's a spring on our property that there's water that flows from the base of one of the redwood trees. Awesome. And it's, it's such an honor to be able to receive this medicine from the earth, this incredibly beautiful water, and to honor it with gratitude and prayer and ceremony as we receive this from the land, and then to be able to share it with our plants.
And you can tell when you taste your plant that it is blessed and receiving the right nutrients and everything.
Yeah. And the water's not filtered. The water's not run through any electrical pumping system. It is gravity fed to the plants. And we also, because of compliance, we have some spring water, but we also have a pond. And so, depending on the seasonal flow, we go between the spring water in the winter when there's an excessive flow, and then the pond, which is our rainwater catchment. And so our plants are grown with spring water and rainwater.
That's incredible.
And it's, that's, the water is an important ingredient that a lot of people skip over. They think about nutrients, they think about soil. But when you think about water and, where your water comes from, what's in your water, water is what allows our cells to communicate. It's what allows the plants to exchange nutrients. It's the fluid, it's the oil that allows the life to move through the physical body. And so when you have good, clean, healthy water, it just makes everything work together in a really nice way. So, I think water is an important thing that, make sure your plants are grown with good water whenever possible.
That's incredible. This has been one of the most educational podcasts I've done, and I do want to get into one more. Since we've talked so much about one award, we kind of got to dive into the other one and the packaging. What kind of made you decide to go with the packaging you did, and what's the process of choosing all the different jars, and also what were you kind of focusing on when you were saying we want to package it? What was like the main priorities you had for your packaging?
Yeah. So we really wanted to respect the culture of the legacy farmers from the Emerald Triangle. And, if anybody went up to Northern California, in the 90s, in the early 2000s, and, 90s and earlier, it's very likely that you saw a mason jar full of weed that wasn't totally trimmed. So in many cases, it wasn't trimmed at all. And it had the water leaf on it, and it had the sugar leaf on it, and it was in a nice mason jar. And when you were ready to roll up a joint or smoke a bowl, you went into the mason jar and you pulled out a bud and you brushed off the water leaf and you opened up that bud. And that was the first time that those trichome heads had ever been touched and interacted with. And it was bringing the flower to life. And the metaphor that I often use, like out in the world, is it's like you unpeel the banana.
True.
Your banana is kept kept with
and
the peel
orange,
on
everything,
to protect it. Yeah, and the orange as well. And you peel it right before you're going to enjoy it. And so the sugar leaf really acts as a skin to protect the bud. And so that's what Farm Cut is we came up with this term that basically it was representing it's not trimmed, it's farm cut. And it comes in a mason jar. So what the package is it's a little mini mason jar. And underneath we have a little vacuum seal. This is a mason jar lid. And then we designed this actually with a homie here in San Diego. This is a child-proof lid that is made with corn husk and cassava root. It's a bioplastic.
Nice.
It's biodegradable in both landfills and in an industrial compost. It's not home compostable, so don't just throw this
Yeah,
in your
yeah.
backyard and expect it to turn into soil. It does need, a hotter,
Yeah.
more robust environment to break down. But our main point was to get away from plastic.
Yeah.
And, I see plastic destroying the planet. I had a short stint in my life for about 6 years where I was really passionate about marine biology, studying the shark population and coral reef conservation. And plastic is decimating our planet. And there's so much of it, and it's destroying our life. It's killing off life like faster than any of us even realize. And so we really wanted to make sure that Farm Cut was a plastic-free package. So that's why we went with the lid. It took a couple years to get it designed, but yeah, we're stoked with how it came out. And so we've got recycled glass, biodegradable lid, and a vacuum seal little mason ring in there. So that's the package, and it won best packaging at Farmers Cup this year, which I'm honored to receive that. It's been a ton of time and energy and thought into creating a perfect capsule to protect the bud through the supply chain. And I think we're still, there's always room for improvement, but I'm really happy with where it's at.
No, I think it's done a great job, and obviously the people do as well. So
yeah,
congratulations. We're getting kind of close to the time, but I do want to ask, anything new coming up, any events you're applying for, new flower you're coming out with, strains?
Yes.
Oh.
I mean, we probably won't have time with this, but I got
we got time. We got time. Yeah, no, we can keep going longer.
Okay, well, I got a box of different.
Yeah, let's show us what you got.
But one that I'm excited about that is just picked up at Cannabis. It's going to be soon. Yeah, it's going to be delivered on May 22nd, I believe.
Okay.
And this is a variety that we're calling Emerald CBDV. And CBDV is a relatively new cannabinoid for us. What we're seeing in the literature and the research is that it appears to be helpful in supporting folks with epilepsy and autism and seizures. So I think, CBDV has an opportunity to be a really potent medicine. And we've been kind of searching for CBDV to be expressed in a significant amount for around 6 years or so. And this is the first time that we've ever seen it above 1%. And this is at 4% CBDV. It is a CBD varietal, so it has less than 1% THC. So it's not really going to get you high, but it's going to help calm the nerves. It's going to help reduce stress. It's going to help just slow everything down. There's a lot of overexcitation that's going on in our society right now. And this is going to just help bring the body back into balance and back into harmony.
Mind if I smell?
Yeah, definitely. And so it's not designed to get you high. But if you think about what's the energetic gesture of a seizure, is it's a tightening, it's a contracting, there's so much stress and compulsiveness going through the body. And so we found that CBDV can just help to relax and de-stress and really just lighten, the tension within the body.
It's like almost like a sweet sage or buttery. I don't know. I really like it.
Yeah.
It's very unique. Do you mind if I take like a little nug to have?
Absolutely. Yeah. And try it out. Yeah. So with the Emerald CBDV, we only have 120 jars of it for the entire year. We had one plant that we grew. And so we're going to have 12 jars that are coming to Cannabis. And then if you're listening from LA area, we're also going to have 12 jars going to Herba Venice, as well as Cornerstone Wellness. And then we have a case going to Torrey Holistics as well. So, for those of you in Southern California, LA, Venice, North San Diego, Central San Diego, there's going to be a few jars out there. So for anybody curious that wants to learn about something new and experience some CBD flower, this is something I'm really excited about.
And anybody that's got a family member going through any of those epilepsy, seizures, stuff like that, send this podcast, show them, learn, educate. I didn't know about CBDV until today. So We're constantly learning new cannabinoids. And that's the thing. Like, I love that you say medicine, because for the longest time, everybody called it the miracle drug. And I never said, I was like, it's not a miracle. We just haven't discovered why. And I think with the more and more research, we're discovering it helps with cancer because of this cannabinoid. It helps with this because of this cannabinoid. The reason you feel tired is this terpene. We're learning more and more. And so that's why I just love learning. I love being a student of this industry, because there's literally an endless amount of learning, because we know there's at least hundreds, if not thousands, of cannabinoids in the cannabis, and we've discovered 20 of them probably, and
Yeah.
only really know a lot about 10 or 15.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think at this point, there's been around 100 different cannabinoids, some within the acidic, some within the decarboxylated, and a lot of there's the varin subsets. But at this point, there's been around 100 different cannabinoids that have been identified. And I mean, for most people, it's THC and CBD.
Yep.
And then we start to learn a little bit about THCV and
Mhm.
CBG and
CBN.
CBN. And we feel like CBDV is one of those cannabinoids, as well as CBC. I feel like both of those cannabinoids are kind of just, they're ready to be discovered and explored a little bit deeper. And the first step is the farmer producing the flowers, so that we can study more about it and learn more about it. Like, you can't learn about something until it's been created.
True.
And so Emerald CBDV represents our efforts to bring forward the CBDV cannabinoid, and we want to explore it with you all.
Got like a little minty aftertaste.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I love the smell of it. It has some beta caryophyllene in it. And so there's a little bit of like pepperiness in there, and like sharpness in there, and the mintiness comes through on that too. It's a really unique really unique expression. And this flower actually comes through the lineage of another one that I want to just briefly mention, and it is also coming back to cannabis. It has been available here before, but it is called the Four Directions. And this variety has a 1-to-1 ratio of THC and CBD, and it also has a 1-to-1 ratio of THCV and CBDV. So those of you that have already tried the Four Directions, you've experienced CBDV before. CBDV is not psychoactive, so it's not necessarily something that you're going to be like, oh, that got me high in this certain way. It's a much more subtle experience that comes through on it. But the Four Directions also has some CBDV, and it's through this same lineage that the Emerald CBDV is coming through. So Four Directions is a really nice variety to explore if you want to try something new. It's 4 cannabinoids in a 1-to-1 ratio. And Four Directions, if you take it back one more generation, you have Pink Boost Goddess. So if we'll just put this here, because this is a Pink Boost Goddess pre-roll pack. We have Pink Boost Goddess crossed with our Harmony Rose that became Four Directions. And then within the Four Directions, we were able to select for the Emerald CBDV, which is expressing CBD and CBDV and not expressing the THC and THCV. So that's kind of like 3 years or 3 generations of our work. And it, the deeper you dive into it, you'll realize that we have lineages going back 18 plus years that can be explored. And we're always releasing small batches of that flower through Farm Cut, so people can experience the different generations of our work.
I love that. And then when you like bring something back or take it, are you cutting from a mom, or are you doing more seed planting when you do it?
Yeah, I mean, this is a whole nother.
And no worries if you don't want to give any proprietary.
No. I mean, it all comes from seed, because for me. And for my mom, and just the way that we see the world and we see the plant, the seed is really, if you're going to do breeding work, you have to work with the seed. If you're going to bring new expressions forward, you have to work with the seed because the seed allows the plant to evolve. And with a clone is sort of a snapshot in time. And so if you're breeding a variety forward, you can take a clone cut and say, here's a clone of Pink Boost Goddess from 2022, the year that it won the Emerald Cup, or 2024, the year that it won Farmer's Cup. You know, you can take a clone of Pink Boost Goddess from that year, but we also have the seed lineage that's coming forward every year, and it subtly is changing, but overall it's more similar than it is different. So you might notice, you know, the 2023 seed lot of Pink Boost Goddess tasted this way and had this effect, and 2024 had a slightly different nose or a slightly different effect.
Also with sun grown, you're just going to have the environment changes, and that's part of the effect. You're getting everything from that area.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And that goes back to the appellation and the terroir.
Exactly.
Is you really get to experience that. And sun grown is, in my opinion, that's the best way to experience it. And, you know, I don't want to like talk down on indoor, but I also want to just acknowledge that when it's grown inside of a building and it's grown in potting soil, your terroir becomes the brand of potting soil that you're buying from. And that's different than the native living soil of the earth.
Absolutely.
You will never be able to put living soil in a bag and maintain the life and vitality that you have from earth on the planet.
Yeah,
and
you can
so
try to become God, but you will never be.
Yeah, well, and the sun, you know,
exactly.
the light, it's going to be different than the sun, and it creates a beautiful looking flower. But I think the terroir and the appellation and the unique expressions that you can experience within sun grown it's different than you will ever be able to experience with indoor. So, you know, it's not to say that indoor is bad or anything. It's just to I want to just highlight this, how special sun-grown flower really is, because you get the environment that's changing every year. You get the soil that's being improved year after year. We grow in the same soil every year, and we cover crop it. We grow plants that fix nutrients back into the soil. Nice. And so our soil is becoming healthier and better every single year. So, you know, Pink Boost Goddess in 2022 versus Pink Boost Goddess in 2024 grew in very slightly different soil with a very slightly different climate, and you can taste the difference in the sun-grown flower.
I love that, especially with going full spectrum. I think you need some more of the full environment too, if you're not just targeting just one, you know. And so I love it. So is there any other flower you want to show us or tell us about that you really love?
Well, I think, you know, so another one that's coming to cannabis that I'm really excited about too is it's called Blueberry Boost.
Okay.
And so what we've done, because Pink Boost Goddess, we've been breeding it for 9 years. It's, you know, like I said, 2-time gold medalist at the state fair, 2-time Emerald Cup winner, now a Farmer's Cup winner. She is truly something special. Mm-hmm. And what she's been able to do is bring forward THCV in a really unique way. And so we have now started to breed with Pink Boost Goddess and create these Pink Boost Goddess crosses to express THCV with unique terpene profiles.
Okay.
And so Pink Boost Goddess is terpenoline and ocimene, and Blueberry Boost is a beta-caryophyllene terpene profile. So you get this really rich, nice blueberry note. With beta-caryophyllene, it's interesting. Sometimes it can lean towards this like blueberry fruit, and sometimes it can lean more towards like this like pepperiness. Yeah. And it really depends on the other terpenes that are supporting the beta-caryophyllene. So within Blueberry Boost, you have this unique terpene profile where it's myrcene dominant, but then you have 3 terpenes almost tied for second. It's beta-caryophyllene, ocimene, and terpenoline. And I have never seen that before.
No.
It's rare.
That's a good balance. Like you don't see ever, like usually it's like one dominating and then a few like trickle, but.
Exactly. And it's rare that you see normally terpenoline, ocimene, and beta-caryophyllene, they tend to dominate in their own way.
Yeah.
And so to see that they are coexisting together as 3 within 0.02 of a percentage point on the COA, which means 0.31 beta-caryophyllene 0.29 osamine, and 0.27 terpenoline. So we have such a small variance between those that you really have these three terpenes working together to create this unique aroma, which it completely smells like blueberries. It's totally crazy. It smells like blueberries. It has a little bit of this like floral note that comes in. It also has a little bit of cheesy funk.
Okay.
So it's this fun, like blueberry floral cheese funk that just, it's great. And the effects, I found it relaxes the body. But then the THCV keeps your mind a little more clear. So you get this really nice relaxing in the body, uplifted in the mind. So the blueberry boost is a really nice one. I would say, where do you start? The Pink Boost Goddess is the origin of all of these. So if you haven't tried the Pink Boost Goddess, that's also available at Cannabis. Start with the Pink Boost Goddess, and then you can start to explore all of these other crosses that we've created. But Pink Boost Goddess is the origin. And Four Directions, Blueberry Boost, Trilogy, all of the varieties we've talked about tonight started with Pink Boost Goddess.
Sweet.
So
well, I appreciate it. Yeah. I'm just gonna ask you a couple quick questions, little stoner questions.
Yeah.
And if I ask you movies or music, it doesn't have to be like stoner related, just what you like when you're smoking or consuming. So obviously I'm gonna guess it's flower, but what's your favorite way to consume? Blunts, bowls, bongs? What do you love?
Rolling a joint.
Rolling a joint? Heck yeah.
And I like to roll up the joint and then do an inhale before you spark the joint. Then you can taste the flower, and you can taste the terpenes. And when you roll up fresh flower, it's totally different. A pre-roll, you're not going to get as much of the terpene profile, but with fresh flower, you get that terpene profile, and it's magical.
Awesome. All right, so I'm gonna ask you too. What's your favorite strain you guys carry, and then what's your favorite strain outside of one you guys grow?
Yes, I mean, the Pink Boost Goddess remains one of my favorites, and I love exploring all of these different varieties that and they all have their own unique expression for like a certain moment of the day or a certain experience. Pink Boost Goddess is kind of just, it's great for anything. It's great for anything. Like the Blueberry Boost is great to relax at the end of the day when you want to settle down, but you have something to work on. But the Pink Boost is just anytime. It's great.
Awesome.
And then there's two that I want to mention from two different farms besides myself. Of course, all of the Farm Cut farms, which check them out, go on the website. You can learn all about those guys. But outside of the Farm Cut community and the Farm Cut cooperative, Osamine Queen or Canna Country number 26.
Okay.
That's grown by Teddy up in Humboldt County. And then also a strain called Strawberry G. It's by Sunrise Mountain Farm out of Willow Creek.
Nice.
Strawberry G is a 2-to-1 THC to CBD. And then Osamine Queen, it's low THC, but it's osamine dominant and just has a really nice effect.
Heck yeah. And then what's a good movie you like when you're stoned or show? Yeah,
I mean, I didn't have electricity till I was 12. And I've only had a TV for 4 years of my life. The first one that comes to mind, Ace Ventura.
Good choice. Jim Carrey.
I really enjoyed some Ace Ventura.
There you go. How about music? Any band or song you like just love playing on when you're smoking?
I mean, I love Stick Figure and Revolution. Yeah.
Have you seen them live?
I have.
Good. Yeah. I mean, in California, you have to.
Yeah. I mean, I can't tell you how many Revolution shows I've been to, but they're all just, they're just so good, and the message is pure, and there's just a lot of heart in there.
Good vibes, and I mean, great hair. We always fit into that crowd. And then last thing, or two things. First is if you were in that 70 show, you have a group of 4 people that you get smoke with. Who are the other 3 people around the table, dead or alive?
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen that 70s show.
Okay. No.
But if there were 3
just a smoke sesh with 3 people.
If there were 3 people, I mean, it's gonna sound crazy, but like having my mom there is going to be really important because I appreciate the heart and the soul and the intention and the love that she brings to every moment that she smokes flowers. So that's, that's just keeping the heart in the circle. And, I think having my brother there also, just because, we've been there from the beginning, and, we were born and raised together, and we did it. And, and then my dad there too, because, it's like, I haven't been in a big world with celebrities and TV. So there's not a lot of like, but my family, like,
I love it. It's
my
pure.
mom, my dad, my brother, and just like, sitting there with them and enjoying,
and it's great is because some people can fantasize about it. You get to enjoy your smoke sesh with the people you want constantly.
Yeah.
So I love it. Yeah. And then last question, what is the funniest time or story you have either buying or selling weed, or a funny story you have?
Yeah. I mean, so a fun story is it was the first time that I ever grew cannabis all by myself. And this was, I was just starting school. I was going to school at UC Santa Cruz. I was actually a sophomore. I wasn't a freshman, but as a sophomore, I had, moved out of the dorms, had a little bit more freedom, and I was hiking through the woods. I loved climbing trees, and I wanted to grow a couple plants. And so I set up a system up at the top of this giant Douglas fir tree, and I grew 6 plants at the top of a Douglas fir tree. And it was the first time that I ever grew plants that were on my own. Like, I'd grown some plants with my parents before.
Yeah.
There was weed around, and so it was normal, but first time I ever grew it on my own was actually at the top of a tree, and we grew 6 plants, each of them harvested.
So did you like put like flooring and stuff up there, or did you just have like little pots and just put them in like the branches? Like, how did you do that?
Yeah, so I had these little pots, and then I secured them with rope. And then I actually got this tarp. It was a green tarp, and I put it underneath the pots because I needed to kind of camouflage it. But what would happen is I would water the plants, and then the water would drip through the pot and get caught by the tarp. And then I inoculated that with some effective microorganisms. So I had a little compost tea that I had going on up there that I could just re-water the plants with. And then I would backpack jugs of water up to the top of the tree every 2 days. And you had to climb one small tree, and then you had to cross the branches onto the actual big Douglas fir, because you couldn't reach the branches from the ground.
Yeah.
So you climbed one small tree, crossed the branches, climbed up that tree, and then I would water the plants.
And you did that with jugs of water and all these supplies and
jugs of water in my backpack, and I had to do it at night because you had to be
Nobody could see you. Yeah.
Nobody could see me. So I did it at night. When, to the moon and the stars. And it was so peaceful to climb to the top of this tree. I would actually climb up there and watch the sunset.
Yeah.
And, sometimes just like hang out with the plants at night and just like appreciate the stars and be at the top of the tree and just have peace and quiet. So it's a really special relationship that I got to build with the first cannabis plants that I ever grew on my own.
Dude, I've met a lot of people that love nature, and I love nature, but you're one that lives it and truly embraces it more than anybody I've ever met in my life.
Wow.
And in the most best way. I mean, that is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, thank you.
And that is probably the coolest story I've ever heard about anybody growing weed. So like, you definitely topped any other story I'm about to hear.
Oh, wow.
So wow, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you being on. Do you want to just tell people where they can find you, how to follow Emerald Spirits and everything?
Yeah. So Instagram, I do little posts and do little education, little tidbits, and tell stories about my flowers. So that's Emerald Spirit Botanicals on Instagram. We also have Farm Cut Canna on Instagram. And then I'm actively building out a website, emeraldspiritbotanicals.com. And on there you can go through and explore the different strains that we have. And then we have a little tab on there, and it says where to buy. And that lists all of the dispensaries that have that variety in stock. It's hard to keep it perfectly updated. Things sell out and stuff has to get reordered. So always call ahead. But the website is a great place that you can learn about our story, learn about each variety, and then learn where to find it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Joseph.
Yeah.
This has been incredible. I'm gonna send it off with one more taste of the
Yeah.
the trilogy.
Yes.
So
Love it. Yeah, the trilogy. I'm just stoked to bring the CBG into flower form
Me
in
too.
a special way.
Because in gummies, it's been all of our gummies with CBG have been selling like crazy. People love
Yeah.
CBG, but it's just not really found as much. And so I love that you're bringing it out in the flower, so it can be combined with everything. Because I'll try edibles, but they don't really work on me too much. So like I prefer, smoking it and getting it instantly.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. This has been a
Yes.
good one.
Cheers.
And I hope everybody has a happy 420 because this has been a trip down Stoner Drive.